bit about who you are and what you do. So good, so why don't we start with you?
Yeah, hi guys, my name's Gorinda. I run a platform called What Makes You, where I ask strangers what makes them smile and what makes them sad.
And we've got a video for you to play.
Yeah. So this is the video.
What makes you sad?
Oh, if my sister hurts herself.
What makes you happy?
Lollipops and rainbows.
Losing my son 2 years ago.
We need to control the greed. Because I think young people have a hard time in our lives.
I'm not going to answer that, I'm thinking of it, yeah. My favourite colour, I would say, it's pink.
Coriander and everything.
Most nights, man, cries to go sleep still. Or I'd have people like bullying me just because I'm black.
I was born addicted to crack and heroin. My mum's in jail.
Don't know why I don't feel comfortable saying my.
The last year, I lost my mother, so I don't really like talking about that too much.
Honestly, I've got my first taste of independence and I kind of ran with it.
Care about what people think of me. It doesn't bother me. I see people that care about that.
Me, I am my worst enemy.
My two parents died in these 3 years and was the worst in my life.
I can do that many times my ego cost me.
I'm not sure, man.
Just me, happy and somewhat successful.
And if you do feel a bit sad, then I turn to God.
Like, I don't think any of my friends know that I lost my auntie 2 years ago.
I was going to have a brother and he was born, but he died before I could meet him.
The world makes me sad.
I don't know, constantly to prove myself.
What makes me smile is an everyday opportunity to.
Fuck nice. No clue, bro.
Love yourself, yeah. Giving yourself a good one. Well, I've never told anybody that I was divorced.
Yeah, I want to marry the skateboarders over there. I want to be alive.
But yeah. My thing is a little bit more novel. So 10 years ago, there is a photographer called Brandon Stanton who runs Humans of New York. And he went around photographing people, and I kind of discovered it during university. And at the time, obviously, I was like, I'm 29 now, so I was like 21, so I was like, I just want to copy this, but I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. And then 3 years ago, I was on a commercial where I took some Polaroids. This is initially when the project was sort of in its infancy, and I was taking Polaroids of people, getting them to write what makes them smile, so like mum's food, home, questions, ideas. And at this point I didn't really come up with the concept, but a great mentor of mine named Alex, he was the first person that said, think about 10 years from now. And I feel like that was the first point in my life where somebody had to sort of frame thinking like that. Because I feel like normally it's like, all right, cool, I've done this project, it's going straight on Instagram. But he was like, this photo you have is going to mean so much more in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So based off that conversation, I came up with these two constants that I could build off. So in terms of the question is what draws me to doing this, is at the end of my life to just encapsulate what life has been saying for the last 30, 40, however how long I am around for, basically. And for it to be a time capsule of society today, whether it's London or Tokyo or South Korea or wherever it is. And then in terms of proudest achievements, this was a week ago I did my first exhibition at the Victoria and Albert Museum, which I was incredibly proud about. But the thing, thank you. But what I was more proud about is these 3 stories, and I'll sort of reel them off real quick. So the first interview I did, her name is Latina, and So the Polaroids, basically, it was kind of my inner circle. So I was only photographing people that I would know, because my main background is music videos. So I never had approached any strangers at this point. It's kind of putting it off, as you can imagine why. So it wasn't until October 2024 where I decided to approach my first stranger, and then my second and third and fourth, fifth, sixth, and then I got, like, as you can imagine in London, like a million no's. And I sat down on the bench and I was like, I want to go home. Like, I just want to go home. Like, this is incredibly, like, hard, and it's so cold as well. It's obviously warmer now. So anyway, the first interview I ended up doing, Latina, she spoke about her missing brother. Her brother's been missing for 16 years. And that was the first interview I'd ever done. At this point, I'd never conducted, like, a video interview. So my first thing was like, how do I handle this? This is like, I wasn't expecting that she was gonna come to me with that, but because I'm really good with my friends, so I kind of spoke about the memories and what she really enjoys about him. That video ended up getting 20 million views, which was crazy. But what was even crazy, and she told me this on the night of the exhibition, she said that the video had put so much pressure on the police that they've now reopened the case and actually invested £10,000 for any information on her brother. And what she said to me was, because of you, I'm now one step closer to finding out what happened with my brother. So, and I couldn't even, I don't get goosebumps often, but that was just like, I was speechless. And then just even the other scenarios of where, you know, I've interviewed like a 15-year-old kid who has dreams about working with snakes and animals and pets. And then in the interview, he's saying that everybody is putting me down. I upload it, and then I don't know if you guys are familiar with TY from the Wild. He was a drill artist, now turned into a wildlife enthusiast, and kind of like, he's amazing. Check him out, honestly. He commented on the video, and the kid's name was Benjamin. He said, "Benjamin, come down, play with my like snakes, animals, and that." Yo, it's crazy. Like they've now linked up, bro. My two fears in life is guns and snakes. Yo, this kid was so happy to play with deadly snakes, and he was like, and I stopped him on Valentine's Day as well, which was hilarious. He had some flowers and he's with his girl, but yeah, he's now getting mentored by TY. And I thought it was amazing, like he brought Benjamin, who's 15, took his dad, and then yeah, just interviewing kids, and then they're now getting like modeling opportunities off the back of the videos, and then their parents are messaging me, and that is like no money, no anything could place like importance on that, and that is the most like rewarding aspect, and that's not something I ever anticipated going in. For me, I was like, oh, I'm archiving these videos and uploading them. But yeah, them three stories in particular, yeah, kid loves snakes, man. He's got like 4, bro. I was like, why don't you stop at 2? Anyway, but yeah, that's what I'd say is the most rewarding aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I think one of the things which I really love about what makes you is you've taken these offline connections and these offline stories, but you've managed to translate them online and create an online platform. But you've done it with a lot of integrity. How have you approached authentic storytelling and first finding like an audience for those stories and then growing that in a way that still feels quite safe?
I think with a lot of online street interview content, people can farm for engagement a lot. So it's like a lot about who has like the most traumatic story. And it's just like, I don't know if you guys are like familiar with soft white underbelly. Personally, me, I understand there's a space for that, but I can't watch like videos like that constantly or film stuff like that constantly. So I feel like for me, oh, cool. Like, so when I interviewed Jeremy Corbyn, like I knew he was going to cover the type of topics that he was going to, but for me, my sort of mission going into that was like, let me get something actually personal from him. So I think I said, what is something that people wouldn't know about you? And he was like, he took ages to reply, and he was like, I like cats. And he laughed. That was the first moment he like showed some form of personality. Like I feel like with a lot of talent, or like, you know, you work with artists, musicians, whoever, they have like this camera voice and this, you know, they switch on like their character. So I seen him switch on. I was like, all right, cool. I need to get something more personal. Now that somebody most of the comments are about him talking about cats, and that was at 1 minute 12 seconds of the video. And in Instagram terms, that's like a 90-minute, like that's like a 2-hour film, basically. But one comment was really sweet. Somebody said that I've never heard him laugh, and that was the first time I did, and it brought me to tears, which I thought, yeah, pretty sweet, I guess. But yeah, they're the type of moments that I'm looking for. Is like, okay, cool, like, yeah, we know this about, again, I interviewed a skateboarder, and, you know, he wasn't necessarily sharing anything personal about himself. He was just saying that, like, he doesn't like seeing old people struggle. He likes seeing young people do their thing, but he was sincere, and sincerity was what I was looking for. And at the end of the interview, he was like, I was like, oh, what's your favorite meal? He's like, ooh, red velvet cake. And he was like, oh, I gotta be healthy. I was like, nah. He's like, all right, red velvet cake then, like 100%. And then again, like the top comments on that video is like, buy him a red velvet cake. I need to still get him. That's my negligence. But yeah, for me, it's just looking for sincerity and like, man, a viral video doesn't have to be somebody's like most traumatic at somebody's most traumatic expense. And even when I have, you know, interviewed somebody, and, you know, I have got a lot of heavy stories on my account, you know, somebody being a gunshot survivor, and like it kind of played where somebody choked up. That was a really powerful story, and I didn't know that he was gonna share that. But then I make sure that, all right, cool, the next video I upload, or even the way I structure the videos, that the videos end on like a positive note. So I asked them what makes them sad to begin with, and then I don't know if you lot can see, but then I asked them obviously what makes them smile, and always kind of structure the interview so that they don't feel like, okay, I just told this guy a bunch of stuff and now he's got it, you know? So it's like, I make sure that there's like, again, in movies, there's conflict resolution, and I feel like with me approaching strangers on the street is like, that's the same sort of approach I take. And then again, of course, I have off-camera conversations, and they're always like amazing, and I don't capture them, and I feel like I get to know that person. So yeah, that's what I'd say I sort of look for, yeah.
What's your perspective on the view from a bridge?
I think it's so British, and I think I love the fact that it is so quintessentially that. And yeah, my personal opinion on it is that it's quite like like Elijah, you were on it, like, for example. I don't know.
I was in character.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Could you tell me about the process, about like what that was?
Scripted. No, as in, I was going past, like he was filming. I saw it like the day before.
Yeah.
There was a guy that did a video about DJ, where everyone wants to be DJs.
Oh, Ethan, right?
Okay, I've never met him, but
yeah.
That was a sick video. And then literally the next day, I was cycling through Trafford and he was there. And I was like, oh, what's up? I'll do one. Fuck it, why not? And then I thought, let me do something that relates to my work.
Yeah.
And I'll do it in a way that is like quite performative for effect. But because I didn't watch any of the other ones, so I was like, okay, let me just do it in Elijah mode or in character, and it resonated. You know what I'm saying? So now what's your thing? I wouldn't do that if I did one of your things, because that seems just super real. Whereas I think I've seen the View from My Bridges now, where there's songs, there's like Father Christmas, there's all different kinds of ways of doing it, and that was my approach. I thought, let me do it more with my artist head on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
More of a performance, whereas like you aim for just the rawness of human emotions, basically.
Yeah, I think again his stuff is great, man, and I feel like that's something that kind of works for him, and I feel like with mine it's just more about just basic, like simple, stripped back emotions. At least that's what I've kind of discovered so far. But I think it's amazing. And again, like kind of like what Elijah said about this ecosystem, it's like even though we're doing these street interviews, it's like he still occupies a different space in something that's a bit more like nuanced. So for example, I interviewed a Bongjae recently for What Makes You, and he also did View from a Bridge. So the guys at the label rang me like, what's the process? I said, don't tell him anything. Pull up. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. And then he was like, honestly, like that is like music to his ears, because no pun intended. And he was just saying that he had overthought his episode for View from a Bridge so much that he was going to cancel on the day, because he felt like he had to outperform like the previous person. And I thought that was really interesting. But again, like on that platform, I guess like it's kind of like honestly, some of the takeaways from that platform are amazing. They're almost like mini TED Talks. I feel like that's at least the way that I sort of view them. But he was just saying that he really appreciated that he didn't have to think much. And even with Abongja, like we had like a conversation off camera. I was already filming, and then we just started filming, and he was like, all right, cool, man. I'm a bounce. So I was like, yeah, enjoy your day, man.
But on a personal level, I really want to know what makes you sad, what makes you happy.
Start with it.
Is that everyone?
That's starting.
Oh. Man, I hate when people ask me this question. Today, and the reason why is because 3 to 4 months ago, I was walking around London, fingers frozen, for 3 hours just hearing no's. And I still do that now, by the way. It's just that things have changed now. But today, I was walking around, but I had questions that needed answering. So today, I took 3 really big meetings about the project the project called What Makes You. And I just realized, I was like, wow, today my day is like so swamped that I can't go out on the street and film street interviews. I was like, you can never complain about having a full plate. So it was one of them days where everything is aligning, like 3 years of my life, like sort of dedicating to this, where nobody cared but I cared, you know. So it was like a day where I was like, wow, even this talk was part of the schedule today. So I was like, the fact that I'm even here talking about it, and then I had 2 meetings earlier, I was talking about it. So I'd say today and having a full plate. And then in terms of what makes me sad, oh brother, the passage of time. Yeah, I think I think I have a nostalgia problem, man, honestly. Because I'll be watching like interviews I've done in like November 2024, and I'm like, oh, I missed this. But I was like, it wasn't that long ago. But it just realizing that moment is gone, and like going to South Bank and hearing the Christmas music. But I know that time's gonna circle back again. But yeah, the passage of time and just seeing that everybody's getting older and you can't get sort of time back. But yeah, learning to sort of balance with that. But yeah, what about yourself? Yeah, I would just say to labels, like, stop putting artists off doing music videos and stop saying they're dead, and stop trying to quantify like the value of a music video. As somebody that does music videos, if you're just uploading music on TikTok, you are going to be coined as like a TikTok artist. Like whether you like it or not, it's going to cost you in the long run. Whether it's like, I don't know, trying to get like a Coachella headline. People need to understand how expansive your vision is. So if you're writing off what you are in about 3 to 4 minutes, and you're only focusing on like 30 seconds, because some of these TikTok snippets are like 20 seconds, and you're not showing your fans how you dress, you're not showing your fans what your extras look like or what color palettes you like, and all of these are kind of synonymous and have a synergy with like the vinyls you release. So if you're like not valuing a music video, I'm not saying like invest like 100K, but even, you know, I've heard artists that have very popular songs right now where the label haven't even offered any money, and then that artist has gone off their own accord and invested their own money and then made the song even bigger. Like, an artist who's signed to like a very big record label shouldn't have to be putting in, you know, like even if they just said, okay, cool, here's X amount, and then maybe the artist is like, right, I'll invest in this. But I have spoken to people that work in labels that are like, yeah, music video, oh, YouTube numbers is that. It's like everything comes in cycles, everything goes in cycles. So it's like, why you like don't underestimate, like there's certain things that can't be measured. So like, yeah, YouTube analytics or insights or TikTok insights to show your age demographic and all this sort of stuff, but you don't know what that one YouTube video or a series of videos you release could influence the next generation that dress like you. Like, and that, and even I've heard Lil Yachty and Tyler say like, cool, do people want to dress like you? Do they reference your haircut? All of these things. And it's like, you can only do that through a visual means. So I think labels, if you're just going where it's like warm, it's like, you're just going to be watering down and like, you miss out on artist development. So I just think that the talk of our music videos dead, or like even trying to get that in like artists' mind is like kind of destructive. And it's like, yeah, I just think just make videos, man. It's fun. Like,
also if like that's something, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Also, if it's like, I can't understand that perspective of like identifying something and being like, oh, it's like that. The fact that something is in a valley means that the next peak is in front of you. Like sometimes we're like, oh, but yeah, cinema attendances are down. That means the next, shape-shifting filmmaker is on the way. Music videos are down. Exactly, the next generation-changing video is coming. Like the fact that it's a valley, every artist, everyone in the cultural field should be, for instance, like should be like very excited about that prospect, because that means there's space for something new. There was lacking representation of Afro-diasporic identity. People don't have that impact if there wasn't that value, So I just can't stand that spirit of like, like giving up when something isn't like trendy or like pushed to the furthest extent.
Yeah, just quickly that. Sorry, music videos have never been a money maker. It's like, so why are they now being seen as that and being like, oh well, YouTube videos are down? It's to promote your music. It's a like expand on your world. So stop trying to see it as like, oh, this is a bad return on investment. It's like, just take that artist into consideration, how big they are, and invest accordingly. Obviously, don't overextend. But yeah.
We could be here for another hour because there's so much to talk about. But one final question from me, and then I will try and see if we can do a bit of a Q&A.
Please, okay.
Yeah. If you had, and you could do this quite quickly, if you had a dream cultural or creative activation event that you could do and resource wasn't an issue, what would it be? And that's for everyone.
Who wants to have a quick answer? I mean, it's thankfully, thanks to God,